Hello guys, my name is Ivany, and in this video, I'm going to bring you guys the Man of War in-depth video. I will mainly talk about his basic stats, my opinion on this gun, and also my recommend builds. And before the video start, I want to make something really clear. Is that all the game stats are hand tested by me. They're not game coded stats, but I'm still comfortable about my accuracy. So let's begin with our damage. Our base damage are 34, 28, and 24. This means the Man of War will be a 3 to 5 shot weapon, assuming that you are not wallbanging. And this overall is the highest damage in all the assault rifles. With our headshot multiplier, this is 1.09, which means you are dealing 9% more damage on the head. It is kind of weird, but if the training room's headshot number is not wrong or they did not round it, this number should be correct. This turns out our headshot damage is 37, 30, and 26. This means headshot are useless, so always aim the chest and you should be good. With our material penetration, assault rifles are usually around 50% and 55% in general. Moving on with our range, this is 23 meters, 43 meters, and 43 meters above. This means you can 3-tap a player in 23 meters. By far, this is the longest 3-tap weapon we have. And you can even make this monster 3-tap at 32 meters, which is half of the map in most cases. We're going to talk about this when we're on attachments. And with this type of range, it already showed that this is a long-range rifle.
It's too close.
Our ADS speed is 316 milliseconds. This is definitely the slower side in ARs. This might be the slowest one at full auto weapons as well. With sprint to fire speed, this is 183 milliseconds. Our sprint to ADS speed is 450 milliseconds. And because I did not finish auto testing for ARs, so I don't want to give a comment if this one is above or below average. With our fire rate, this is 8.3 rounds per second, which is 501 rounds per minute. If I'm not wrong, if I was wrong, just correct me. This is the slowest fire rate in all the full auto weapons, which means it's a really unforgivable weapon if you miss shots. And this brings out with our time to kill. Our time to kill is 235 milliseconds at 3-shot range, 353 milliseconds at 4-shot range, and 470 milliseconds at our final drop-off. The time to kill at our first damage drop-off, it's a bit quicker than average, but this doesn't mean you should play up close. Something good to know is, even though I said you should play with the Man of War by range, but at his last damage drop-off, which is 43 meters above, his time to kill is actually a bit below average. Well, mainly is because his fire rate is too slow. Remember I said you should not play the Man of War really close range? And here's the reason. So basically, every time you miss a shot, your time to kill will be add up 119 milliseconds. If you miss one shot, you already destroy your time to kill. Your time to kill will become the slowest one at all full automatic weapons. Let's say if you miss 2 shots, except your opponent is a bad sniper or he have a really trashy aim, you would be so dead. With our movement speed, this is 6.31 meters per second, and our walking speed is 4.83 meters per second. Our ADS movement speed is 1.97 meters per second. Furthermore, with our maxing capacity, this is 25 shots per mag, and 100 shots reversal. For me, I think the maximum capacity is enough, but if you think you need more, extended mag is always a good choice. Brings up with our reload time, the Man of War reloads pretty slow at 3.3 seconds full reload, 2.5 fast reload. At last, if you cancel the backswing for a reload animation, it will be 2.1 seconds. Well, this is actually slower than some of the LMGs, such as the S36 with 100 extended mag. The S36 reload a bit faster, but like imagine 100 rounds mag is lighter than a 25 rounds mag. It either be the Man of War shooting something big, or the S36 are shooting marshmallows.
Losing Alpha. captured B. Hostiles.
The recoil on the Man of War is pretty good. It is predictable like the LK, and you can rely on it at long range. The first 3 shots are tied to each other, and after 6th shot is where the recoil really starts to kick. It goes slowly towards the left with the slow fire rate. It should be easy to control. Our hip fire spread is on the wider side of the ARs. Nothing special here. There is all the basic stats for the Man of War. Remember that I said there's attachments that can make the Man of War 3-tap way up to 32 meters? Well, this is our huge suppressor. It reduces our firing sound, remove muzzle flash, reduce vertical recoil by 8.3%. It also hides our position from enemies minimap. At last, we got our 40% damage range boost. In my opinion, I think the huge suppressor is kind of like the marksman barrel in the muzzle attachments. Well, as the penalty, your ADS speed will be 366 milliseconds. Our strafing speed will be 1.77 meters per second, which it makes you become LMGs. But this attachment is still worth it. Luckily, there are several attachments that can nearly make the downside disappear. And now, let's talk about my recommended builds on this gun. And I will list all the recommended attachments that you should use. First, our core attachments are huge suppressor, short barrel, OWC laser, and I do have some other attachments that are adjustable. You can just go to the training room and see which one fits you the best. Such as 30 rounds extended mag, light stock, combat stock, red dot. And in the video, the Man of War hasn't buffed yet, so if you want, you can actually use the 35 rounds mag. Let's say you're too lazy to try this out in the training room. This is some example for it. As my opinion on the Man of War, it's quite okay, not overpowered. The upside of the Man of War is probably his range, damage, and others, there is really nothing good about this weapon. For damage and range, you give up your ADS speed, fire rate, and your magazine capacity. To be honest, if the Man of War doesn't have a good range, I actually won't recommend this rifle at all. The playstyle on this gun is really passive. You should not play aggressive on the Man of War. And here it comes with my reason. In this season, the meta are the DRH. Sometimes you can see some ASM-10, but not that much as previously. What I want to say is, if in a close range gunfight, if your opponents have a DRH or ASM-10, there is a high chance they will win the gunfight, assuming they're not missing any shots. The main problem is the forgiveness of missing shot penalty are too high on the Man of War. Plus, the orange sights aren't that good for you to play aggressive. Also, I do found I was in trouble when I was rushing someone or I was being spawn trapped, and especially if they have covers. So if you try to play aggressive or rushing someone, the Man of War is not for you, except when it's necessary. You might see some YouTubers play with the Man of War aggressive. Technically, they can, and here is my answer to it. First, they got their equipment. For example, in most of the YouTubers, you see them play with the iPad, and that's just so much advantage. Second, you always see that YouTubers have better pen than normal players. Third is they are pretty skilled. That is why you see some of the YouTubers playing the Man of War aggressive. Yup, I think this is all for today's video. My name is Ivany, and I see you guys next time.